As a people, as a society, we are more distracted than ever. And with that, people are beginning to desire different experiences than we've been kind of shoved in our face. What I mean by that is I believe people are looking for more curated events, things that take them out of the mundane, out of the day-to-day life. People want to be, people want to experience more intention than ever before, because since, like, with what happened to everyone with COVID, being inside, being isolated, and then now post COVID, people are looking not just for any type of event, but something that truly could help them and give them more intention out of life. So if you're somebody, this is a great opportunity. If you're somebody who wants to create more events or experiences with someone that can do with how people experience you online and how people also experience you offline, in person, and online events and experiences should have more intention behind them. A lot of times, we try to copy people and we see what works, and even though that might work for someone else, I think it's important more than ever to be someone who creates a vision for your own life and creates an experience that is different than what anyone has ever seen. And you can take inspiration from others. You can gather insight and be like, oh, I kind of like how someone did this, or you can be inspired by other people. But I think it's so important that you think and create and be inspired from those things, but also try to make experiences different for people. And I think for myself personally, as a business owner, I think about how people experience me from online and then when they get to experience me in person, or vice versa. From when someone discovers you from social media, you want to be able to be, you want to create a presence, an online presence, and a platform that is searchable. So instead of just thinking about putting something generic, like, unless you're somebody who, when they search your name, they can definitely find you. If you're not that person, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you might not yet be there. So if you want to be able to create that experience and be able to be found online, you want to think of your platform as kind of a door. What I mean by that is, think about the best experience you've had at a restaurant or an Airbnb or an event or wherever you went, or had an experience. Why was that top tier for you? Why does that experience come back to you? It's most likely because from the beginning to when you either found the event or maybe someone told you about the event to maybe purchasing a ticket was easy. You got the follow-up in the email and that was simple. Or maybe someone kept in touch with you and it felt very personal. Thinking like that when you're someone who wants to create an experience or wants to build something, I think thinking like that is important, because if you're someone who doesn't want to be generic, then that's the place that you want to come from. Somewhere that is, hey, I'm going to create the experience, but how can I do this differently? Sometimes it takes a little bit of iterations to be able to create that experience, but allow yourself the opportunity to think differently, and how can you create something that's memorable for people, and how can people leave differently than when they came. I think, and I believe this for the longest time, but I think everyone has a personal brand. no matter if you think of yourself as an influencer, if that's what you think personal branding is, or a business owner, but I believe everyone has a personal brand. A mom has a personal brand, a teacher, bus drivers, everyday people have personal brands. And what I mean by that is who you are is your personal brand. And if you feel like you don't have a personal brand, that probably means that you've allowed other people to build or dictate how they experience or have interactions with you. The way that you interact with people is part of your personal brand. How people remember you is part of your personal brand. And I think if you're someone who, and you don't have to build a personal brand necessarily for it to be like, oh, I'm trying to get paid off of this or whatever. You can do that. But if you're someone who wants to be someone who is recognized or well remembered in their community, someone who makes a difference in their life, who has a vision for their life, you can start by building your personal brand. And questions that you can ask yourself or like discover for yourself is, how do people experience me? How do I leave my environment versus how I found my environment? How do people experience me, interact with me? Am I someone who asks questions? Am I someone who is a great listener? What do I wear that makes me either how people experience me, remember me? My hair, your clothes, everything, every single touch point, the way you talk, the way you express yourself, all of that is a part of your personal brand. From a child to your last breath on earth is all a part of that personal brand and how people experience and remember you. And you don't have to be, you can be someone who's like, I want to be the best grandfather ever, or I want to be the best husband, the best wife, the best sister ever. And that's how you can build your personal brand. How do you want to live your life, and how do you want people to experience you? That's how I think of personal brands. And I think when you create from that space, when you think about like who you want to be and how you want to leave this earth, or how you want people to experience you, how you want to change the world, starts from that place. And if you're someone who's been thinking about like, I really don't know exactly what I want to do with my life, I'm not really sure how I want the world to see me, I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do with life, I think a few things you can start with is start to ask yourself some things that you're interested in, who you want to be or become. That person that you want to become, ask yourself, how would I build my life? How would I build my day today if I want to be that person? What does this person do that I'm not yet doing? And how can I make those changes, those small changes today to start building that life? Building a brand and building a life that you are proud of starts with small decisions. And if you're someone who feels like you've been stuck, or you've been trying to figure out exactly, or you're maybe not as excited about this life that you've built yet, it's not too late to turn that around. In small decisions that you make every day, you can make a difference in your life and the people's life around you. When I was young and I was playing sports, I was someone who was known for being more quiet and reserved. I've often been told that I was more of someone that I was more of a leader I wasn't a leader with my voice, but like I was kind of more of a silent leader. So someone who might not say a lot, but my actions and how I presented myself, the choices I made, the things I said yes and no to were the things that made me recognizable. So I often would find that people around me would be like, oh, Dania wouldn't do this, or oh, she's like this. And when that started to become a pattern in my life, I started to recognize, wait, so when I'm not saying something and when I'm choosing to be intentional with the words I'm saying, this is how people are experiencing me, or this is what they think of me. And without even thinking about it, I was building a brand and building something that when people interact with me, that's their experience. And sometimes if you think like, okay, what I'm trying to say is, even that version of myself is someone who I'm proud of who I was at that time, but that's not everything I am today. Like, you can build on your brand, you can shift your brand as well. It's not something that is totally set in stone. You can shift, you can change, and that's a beautiful thing. As humans, we are adaptable. We can shift, we can make changes, and I think that's a beautiful thing to remember. Sometimes if we feel like we're stuck, or it's like I feel like I've been doing this, or maybe things are not working, yes, evaluate that situation. But if it's truly the decisions you're making day to day, then that can shift. You can change that. So what that could look like for you is like, oh, I've been doing this, and the results I've been seeing are not the results I want. So let's try something else. You can evaluate that thing, and if that's working for you, if you're seeing the change you're wanting to see, then okay, keep doing that. If you're not seeing the things that you want in your life, then start to do something different. It's truly that easy and that simple. And sometimes it can feel scary. Sometimes it could just feel like there's so much unknown in this. But that's also okay. Like, our bodies, when we take the time to make those changes, our bodies can adapt to that as well. And that's not to say that you'll ever forget your old self, because the old Dania, the older version of myself, I still remember there's still some things that come up that I might not be excited about. Like, some days I feel like or want to be more lazy than other days. Doing this every single day is something that has been challenging. There's days when I'm like, oh snap, I really need to film now. And sometimes if you just put yourself in, like, okay, for from now until whatever time frame you want to give yourself, I'm going to start doing these and making these changes because this is what I want to see for myself. This is the version of myself I know that I want to be in the future. And you can start from the future and then work your way back. Like, if you're someone who wants to be an early riser, and I know sometimes it's challenging for something like that, but if you're someone who wants to be someone who reads more or wants to be more informed about things and learn about maybe self-development, finance, health, beauty, whatever it is, you can just start learning that field, and it's not too late to start and grow from there. I think when building a personal brand, you should think about first who you want to be. And if you're someone who's not sure exactly what that version or who that is that you want to be, start with small things. Like, okay, maybe I want to try out being a creative person. So maybe take some classes or watch a different YouTube video that talks about or teaches you something. Maybe you can find a local class, a meetup or something where you can learn something new. I think you have so much power within yourself than you give yourself credit, especially when you might not be in that time or that moment of your life where you're like, when you're feeling motivated to do that thing. So give yourself grace, give yourself time, but definitely know that, hey, if I don't really like the life I want, or if I'm not in love with my personal brand and who I am and where I see myself, then make the change, make a shift, take it day by day, and then eventually you can look back and be proud of those decisions you made to get to where you are today.